Hi guys. Um, my name's Yan Groki, aka Groki. Um, been through this before. If you're coming from the second video, hi, hello, again. Okay, so this video, this next video, I wanted to go in more depth on um, color, like actually approaching color with, approaching a portrait with color. Um, now again, um, hopefully you guys are doing it. You guys don't have to, but it's really good to understand it. Understand value. Really, really understand value before you you know, I would recommend it. I can't boss you around, and I'm not gonna be there with a gun to your face, but really understand value, right? If you can do a lot of charcoal drawings, a lot of like pencil drawings, black and white drawings, draw everything, because that drawing, number one, drawing skill and being able to draw well is going to transfer over to your painting, period. And then being able to understand value very well is going to transfer over to understanding color pretty well. One more thing before I actually get into it. I'll give out more like drawing assignments and more like value assignments, because I'm telling you, dude, like if you can understand value, and like the reason why I was able to like, I don't want to say I blew out people who were like in my college classes is like as a freshman, but I did is because I would literally go on YouTube and fucking watch videos of how to fucking draw eyes and how to shade and shit, and okay, like core shadow, and like I knew all that shit in fucking high school. And then I got to college and I was like, oh shit. And then I was like, oh damn, okay, so I'm out here, I do this, all right, bet. um but yeah, understand values. So anyways, let's get into it. So we talked a little bit about color, um color theory. I don't know, I wouldn't call it color theory, but colors, the basics of like understanding colors, which is the bing, hopefully it pops up, bing, the color wheel, right? Okay, so you have your primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. And then you cannot make white. You cannot, well, you can make black. Technically, black is like all of the colors equally mixed, put it together, and then it makes black. But, that's like a whole other definition thing. Anyways, so primary colors, right, are colors that you cannot make, right? Which is red, blue, yellow, and white, technically. Um, then you have your secondary colors, like the ones that you mix, like if you mix primary colors, like red and yellow, make orange. Red and blue, make purple or violet, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yellow and blue, make green, right? And then you have your like tertiary colors. You have your red, orange. Then you have your yellow, orange. Then you have your blue, violet. Then you have your red, violet, so on and so forth. I'm not gonna get into it, but understanding all of that, and how it works, right? And understanding like what the opposite is. If you don't understand it, dude, they sell these fucking things at Michael's, or you can make one on your own. That's what I did. You can make one on your own. Shit, that could be an assignment. Boom. Make a color wheel. Make a color wheel. Send it to me, and then we could talk about it or something. Or if you don't understand it, or if you need help, just we'll talk. Anyways, so you got your color wheel. Understand your color wheel. Understand your primary colors, your secondary colors, and oh fuck, what did I call it? Tertiary. The third color, the third ones, the third line. Okay, understand the third line. Now, why is it important to understand that? Okay, so when you're approaching skin tone, you cannot think of it as, for example, oh, that is a white man. How am I going to color this white man? How much black should I add? How much white should I add? No. Okay, don't do that. Right? Or how much light? It's multiple colors. So if you have a base color, right? For example, I'm gonna use myself an example again. I would say my base color right? I would look at myself, if I'm about to draw myself, I look at myself like, okay, what kind of gray is this, right? What kind of gray is this? It sounds goofy or it sounds weird or out of this world, but that's what you have to think about. Everybody has like an earth tone, right? Everybody is earthy, except you have to figure out how warm or cool gray they are, right? So if I'm doing a white dude, shit, where's my, oh, fuck. Oh, so if I'm doing a white dude, I actually don't paint white people very often. And I use a completely different palette for the most part when I am compared to like black people or Mexican people or whatever. So if I'm doing a white dude, I think for this particular, portrait, this is Chester Bennington, by the way, rest in heaven. I used, well, I don't know if you could tell. Okay, so throughout his face, there's a lot of warm grays, a light, like white, warm grays. Okay, keep up with me. Hopefully, I'll try to explain it as best I can. Okay, so it's not completely gray if you actually look close, right? So this is a big one, right? Very warm gray. I used what colors did I use? I used a lot of white. I think it was titanium white, a alizarin red, a little bit of alizarin red, and then to make it more gray, I use its opposite color. The opposite of red is green. You can remember that because Christmas, ho ho ho, ding. Opposite gray, opposite of red is green. So I use with a little bit of green, and that's how I got this like grayish. If you just look at that part, grayish like white. Okay. It's not. It wasn't obviously to make sure it was warm. I used more red. I think I also used what's it called? Raw umber? Raw sienna. Burnt sienna. I also use a little bit of burnt sienna. But which is also like I consider that, very close to red, which is like this color. It's closer to red. So it's still like to me opposite of green. Okay? So that's how you think of it. And that's how I think of it. So even okay, and even like to get like dark, I don't have to use black. You don't have to use black. Sometimes I do, like if it's like dark, like, and there's just no fucking way I'm gonna get it with like the mix that I'm using. Sometimes I use black, but in this case I didn't use black. So well, at least not like in the skin. So even this, like to get this and to get this, I used pure, I think it was pure burnt sienna, like no mixing, pure burnt sienna and pure Viridian. I think that's what the green was called, Viridian green. And I just mix them up, and then it produces this really like dark color, but it still solidifies or it still unifies everything because those are the colors that I'm using throughout the whole painting. Now you can see though, like on this part especially, everything turns like a lot cooler, a lot more purple, because I was looking at it, right? Like even in the nails, you can see it a little bit. Even in the nails, there's more like purpley. And believe it or not, I actually mixed mostly, what do you call it? Mostly the red, the alizarin red and green, and then maybe I put a little blue, I think. But my I don't want to say my base color, but the basis or the color that I'm seeing or the color that I'm trying to produce comes from those two colors together. And it's just mixing until, you know what I'm saying? Until, sorry, I got a hair. Until I get the gray that I need. Um, so like you can see, again, it's a lot more purple. Down here, it gets very pink, like very dark but warm grayish pink, right? This one is a very light but very cooler, subtle pink, right? And that's how you have to think about it. So, all right, how does that apply to darker skin tones? Um, is Gucci dark skin? Fuck it, I'm gonna just get it. Hold on. All right. So how does that apply to darker skin tones? All right. One thing that I notice, especially about darker skin tones, is that um, you're usually, and not everybody obviously, but from what I've seen, usually more warm, right? So your values are dark, but you still have warm and cool like highlights of gray, right? So, as an example, Gucci, right? You have these warm. This is a gray, right? This like highlight right here. That's a like a warm yellowy gray. This like all of this up here was like a cool gray, but I to get that cool gray, I mixed. It's more like a lavender. A lavender can be a cool gray, right? Um, what else? You can if you look closely, like you can actually see like the dabs or whatever. This is a dab of cool, like a yeah, cooler than cool gray. Um, this is a warmer gray, right? This was like a bluish green. Yep, like a bluish green to get like the tattoo that he has there. Um, even in his lips, right? This is like a purple, warm gray if you look really, really close. Um, and then to get like the actual like darkness, like the darker like parts, like the shadows and stuff, I mix oh shit, what did I mix? Burnt sienna. I fucking love burnt sienna, bro. This shit fucking amazing. I love it. Burnt sienna. If I'm having trouble with burnt sienna and well, usually for black people, like the color that I go with, the colors that I go with are like purples, browns. Like to get the browns that I want, it starts off with like purple and yellow and burnt sienna too. But if I can't get those, like if I can't get the shadows with like the burnt sienna and the dark purple that I'm using, like the pure purple that I'm using, sometimes I'll mix in a little bit more blue to the purple, like a dark blue to the purple, or I will mix in burnt umber with just burnt sienna to make it like dark. Okay, and it works. It works perfectly. Um, so that's how you have to approach it. Okay, especially for like darker skinned people. I like to think of it as I usually go with like more purple, like lavender, not even purple, but like lavender and oranges and just very warm tones, warm colors, right? Sometimes it turns a little bit more gray, right? Um, that's what I do, right? And then you can tint it up or you can shade it down, right? Tinting is adding white to it. Shading is, I think, adding darker, making it go darker. Okay, so that's what I do. That's how I approach it. Um, I'm gonna demo like how I mix colors, what I look at. I'll do that with probably a couple of like portraits, people you recognize that way. You know, you can see what I'm seeing. We can see what you're seeing, or what you should see, what you want to see, so on and so forth. Um, um, okay, so I know I like gave you an assignment, but another assignment that I want you guys to do. Ah, shit, I should have brought it out, but I didn't. Hold on. I will leave it. I'll link it somehow. I still have to figure out how to do that. I'll link it somehow though, but you can use charcoal. You can use fucking acrylic. You can use motherfucking oil. You can use pencils. Okay, but I'm gonna leave like a couple of pictures of different objects. Your job is to take a picture of it or save the picture on your phone, right? Edit it on your phone or whatever, make it black and white, and then just draw it. Okay. If you have a big sketchbook, use a big sketchbook and try to fill the whole page with it. I'll try to like leave an example or something from what I've done. I did a spoon. It was cute. Anyways, and then I'll leave an example or whatever. Again, have any questions? Hit me up. DM messages, Instagram, Twitter, Young Grogi, Facebook, Young Grogi. If you want to email me the assignment or send it to me, you can. Okay, you can email it younggroki@gmail.com, or you can just send it to me via social medias or whatever. Okay, I'll try to check that before like every week. If you have any questions or whatever, don't be afraid to ask. The reason why I'm giving all of this information is because I asked one of my favorite artists one time if they could help me, and they kind of just snubbed me off and you gotta just help yourself and figure it out. And I was like, okay, fucking bastard. So if y'all have questions and I know the answers, and like literally, I'm not trying to jock your style. I was just trying to understand like what the fuck, because I didn't get it. So like, ooh. Anyways, so if you have questions, don't be afraid. Just hit me up. I will answer it as best as I can if I know how to. If there's anything else that you need help with, hey, shout out to Yasap. I think it was Yasap. I think it was Yasap on Twitter that asked me like to try to explain like how you mix darker skin tones. I don't remember. I think it was though. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go and actually demo it coming up. I'll probably do what is it called? Those really fast ones. Time lapse. I'll do a time lapse and put it on, and then you can just hear my voice or whatever. I'll show you how I mix colors and whatnot, so on and so forth. So thanks. Okay, bye. ありがとうございます。